have become destitute. So government is cushioning now by giving them, and government is committed. Stephen Kampyongo has reassured and guaranteed the people of Zambia of the public security prior, during, and after the August elections. These are some of the stories that we are going to be discussing this afternoon. Allow me, lady and gentlemen, to start with this. This is very close to my heart. Now, Lusaka District Commissioner David Sulubanji is reassuring citizens that government is working on hunger mitigation measures to ensure that no one starves to death. Mr. Sulubanji says he is aware that the COVID-19 pandemic has hit the vulnerable groups in society hard. He explains that a satellite committee has identified the less privileged, such as the elderly and orphans, who will be included on the hunger mitigation measure schemes. Mr. Sulubanji was speaking when he distributed 150 bags of mini meal to the Holy Spirit Catholic Church and the Zambia United Nations Freedom Fighters Association. This is what DC Sulubanji had to say when he was distributing those bags of mini meal.
As you may be fully aware, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa, President of the Republic of Zambia, has reassured Zambians, regardless of their social status, that no one will die of hunger as long as he is the Republican President, and no one will be left behind in terms of development. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa is fully aware that COVID-19 pandemic has hit hard most of the vulnerable groups in our society, especially those who are dependent on material support, on other help from the family members and other well-wishers. The COVID-19 pandemic has negatively affected these breadwinners and well-wishers' ability to also extend their generosity to help the extended families who are solely depends on them. The Lusaka District Management Committee coordinates the relief activities on behalf of the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, which is under the office of the Vice President. Based on the President Edgar Chagwa principles and values of Ubuntu, my committee, through satellite committee, have identified the less privileged in society such as...
This is the lunchtime show. Munzia, the Lusaka District Commissioner, David Sulubanji, he has reassured that no one is going to die or starve to death. And he said that when he was giving out those 150 bags of mini meal. Hunger situation. Your take on that one?
You see, yes, the mini meal was given out, and people are being reassured that no one is going to die of hunger. Away from the 150 bags,
yes,
of mini meal that were distributed, and to a very small group of people. Maybe some things that we need to start to talk about when, or maybe what our leaders should start to consider when they are making such promises. Give people something that they can actually look forward to. Not at this point, their promises should be beyond just talk. Because, like you said, the COVID pandemic has hit people so much such that they can't afford even the few meals. And I'm talking about few meals because it's in most households, people were not able to afford. People have, for the longest time, not been able to afford 3 meals per day or 3 or more meals per day. They've been eating less. And now it's worse in some of these households. So some things that we need to look at critically are issues like, so if this family is given a bag of mealie meal, how long will it sustain them? Other than a bag of mealie meal, what is it, even when you stand before the people to say government is working hard to ensure no one dies of hunger, what exactly is it that you are doing to ensure that people do not die of hunger? Because honestly, the 150 bags of mealie meal will not take people anywhere. Yes, we are grateful that at that point, at that very point, that bag of mealie meal did come. But what about tomorrow? What am I supposed to do about tomorrow? Those are some of the things that I would want to see, even as they are promising us to say no one is going to die of hunger. What exactly is going to happen? We've seen people who are working hard. People have worked hard to cultivate their land. People have worked hard, and nothing is being done. These are people that may not be in that group of people that are dying of hunger right now, but these are people that we know will suffer come next season. These are people that are going, and maybe not just them, the rest of us, because they're the ones that should have supplied the maize. And so when you say we are going to work hard to ensure no one dies of hunger, give us a feasible plan, something that we can actually look forward to, and show us.
Is this not a plan?
To say we are working? To say we are working is not a plan.
There is a committee that has been, identified.
To do
a
what?
satellite committee to identify people that have been hit.
But people have already been identified.
Is this not a starting point?
People have already been identified. And when I say give us a feasible plan, yes, this may be setting up a committee, may be a starting point. But for me, I want to know what that committee is going to be doing. People have been identified, and what I don't want you to consider as ensuring I don't die of hunger is giving me a bag of mealie meal. That is not ensuring I don't die of hunger, because you give me this bag of mealie meal today, but what about tomorrow?
What if we are going to, it is a continuous process, we'll be giving you meal.
It's not true. It's not true. Let's be realistic. It's not true. And
what is it that is not true?
That you are going to give me a bag of mealie meal, next week in Gayapwa you give me another one. That is not true. That is what I'm disputing.
Has this government not continued to give people social cash transfers?
Are you sure you want us to go there?
Thank you so much.
Are you sure you want us to go there? Social cash transfer, what is the amount of money that people, the vulnerable, are receiving? And how often do they receive it? There are people, social cash transfer to Fokolo, who get 100 kwacha. Am I lying? How often do they get those 100 kwachas? We've seen social cash transfer money being mismanaged. And then you want to come and tell me this government has continued to give out social cash transfer. Yes, on paper they have continued to give out social cash transfer.
On the
but
ground?
it's not helping people. It is not helping people. No, it's not.
Okay. Let me bring in a politician. I know that some people are going to politicize this, but I don't want to politicize it because the person that was seen yesterday giving out these bags of mealie meal is a technocrat. He's a civil servant. He's not a politician, a district commissioner. So, what do you make of the gesture? And
politicize.
People say, no, they're just giving people because we are in an election year. They want to show that they are caring. But this is a government that is going to work and make sure that people are given what they're supposed to be given. And that is why I mentioned that it is a district commissioner.
Mr. Kelvin, the members, they say, Lunchwachi Mpwena, Wamushikire Kumo Nechitumbi. The same members, they are also telling us to say, Umtemboni konse. That is what it's all about. What you need to realize on that point is that when you look at the district commissioners that we have here, they are all affiliated to the PF. I stand not even to say, no, I'm going to regret what I'm saying.
They are not affiliated
to the
PF. They are appointed.
They are politicians. Let me
tell you. No, they are not.
Let me tell you, in the Democratic Party where I'm coming from, Mr. Kelvin, I'm telling you to say, immediately somebody has appointed, you are going to be paying homage to that person. What am I trying to say? If that person is indeed not a politician...
What will be happening. That's what happens in your party?
I'm saying what happens in my party. Let me finish what I'm saying first, because I've got a trend at which I will be moving at. What usually happens is, when somebody is appointed by somebody, that person pays homage to the appointing authority. And that is why we are saying, the moment these district commissioners, we have seen them lining up to see the president, their duties, it's supposed to do what? To develop a certain constituency, to develop a certain area. But what we are only seeing today, the person is saying that no, we have distributed that kind of bags and the like. The question that we should ask is, where are those bags of minimum going to take those people? What we need at the moment is to give the people of Zambia things which can sustain them. What lies in the people of Zambia? They have got all the adequate thing which they need. All they want is to help them in certain areas, not handing out things like minimum to them. Because we have seen even in places where we have had by-elections, DMMU has been the topic saying, no, we were going there because these people have been affected mainly. The question should be, why is it that a certain constituency is only affected when we have got by-elections there? And that is why when you are dealing with these things in a country like Zambia, the things that you are asking me here, say, no, the person who was doing that is not a politician, is not what. Badia bamupiyefu twentu baleki efyo myebe na pakwa mbokwe batiru shwachi mpwena bamushikire kumone chitumbi. That is why I'm saying the people of Zambia, all they need, if it comes to these musicians that we have, all we need is to make sure that we put up studios, because what can attract money to them? It's things like the same studios which can be put up, because they have got that talent of them singing. They have got that talent of them even attracting the international communities. They can even attract the international countries or international artists who can be able to feature with them. Immediately they do so, Zambia's revenue increase. When it increases, those people who are given those bags of minimum, provided they said you have given you employment of this kind, you would have agreed to say, okay, those people will be getting salaries at the end of the month. Immediately they get those salaries, what will be happening is that they are going to be buying minimum on their own. We don't have 150 people in Zambia. We have got a lot, and this cannot be a continuous process, because they are going to say we gave those people, now we are giving these people. But the people were given at first, and that is why when you have got Democratic Party in power, we are saying, even when you look at the police commissioners, now I'm answering you, Madam Munzia, where you said, is that what you stand for? What we stand for is, the moment you start making sure that we insulate certain people who are in this organization, when you talk about the police commissioners, you talk about the police IGs, those people are supposed to do what? They are not supposed to be appointed by the president. A president just has to name a name, and then from there that name is ratified by the parliament. And then when parliament ratifies the name, what will be happening is that person or that police IG, he or she will not be paying homage to the appointing authority, because at that moment it means we have insulated the police IGs, we have insulated the police commissioners. But what is happening in this country? Madam Charity Katanga, the moment she's working, she'll be saying, what if I do this? What will happen to my job? They are all working to protect their job, and in order to do so, they are making sure that they are working in line with what their appointing authority will agree with. Why can't they beat them? This is because those people are also fearing to say, oh, when we do this, the appointing authority will be on us. And that is why today in this country, cadres have got more power than these police officers. But what we are saying is, police officers are competent enough. Immediately, Mr. Kelvin, you see a police officer who is in the street. Immediately you see a police officer who is working there in order for us to have got the law. In order for us to ratify those people, in order for us to make sure that we have insulated those people, what will be happening is those people are going to receive dignity. The mistakes which the police officers make, it's not their mistake. It's the mistake of the Home Affairs, and it's the mistake of the government. That is where I can say.
Munzia, Mr. Sirubanje says a satellite committee has been identified. Here in Lusaka, the DC has started. And I know that in other districts, DCs also copy what is happening with the DC in Lusaka. Don't you think this is a starting point? Yesterday we had John Kunda from ZESCO. They also did the same. They identified...
John Kunda who told us we no longer have load shedding.
Yes.
And we've experienced it the past
So
days.
people were identified, those who are buying electricity less than 200, and now they are receiving COVID units. Don't you think this is the right move in the right direction. Yes, I know you may look at 150 bags of not being enough, but this is a starting point.
And you see, Fokolo, that is why I did say, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying they should tell us what the actual plan is. Because depending on what my leader's plan is, I will also have a plan for myself. I will also have a plan for myself. Fokolo, I gave you an example of the people that have been living in floods for some time, and then their area MP is telling us, I've already reported to DMMU and I'm waiting for them to take the course of action. When is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? What exactly is your plan, so that we also make a plan? We know that, okay, so if this is what government is going to do to help us, then this is what I need to do to then complement what government is also bringing in. Giving out mealie meal, 1 bag of mealie meal to each household, I should assume is what was happening, because 150, how many are you going to give? Giving out that amount of mealie meal to households, per household, and saying government is working hard to ensure you don't die of hunger is not enough to assure me that I will not one day die of hunger. Give us a plan. That is all I'm asking for. Tell us, what is it? Yes, you've constituted that committee and you are going to start identifying, which I honestly do believe is going to be a waste of time, because vulnerable people have already been identified in this society. We already know where people are lacking the most. So what is it that the committee is going to sit to identify? How about the committee sits to say, this is the way forward?
Mr. Simukoko, last month we did see the food basket, basic needs for a family of 5, going to about 8,000 per month. And now the DC says...
and just that, Fokolo, 8,000 per month is a household of how many people?
5.
5.
Yes.
Yes.
And now the DC says there is a satellite committee which has identified the vulnerable or less privileged in society, which includes the elderly and the orphans. And yesterday we did see a gesture where they were given 150 bags, a 25 kg bag of mealie meal per each household. Don't you think this is the right move in the right direction? And what we should be talking about now is calling on, well-wishers to come on board and supplement what government is doing. And when I talk about well-wishers, even your party should just come in, because if people die, then you won't have anyone to vote for the DP come 12th of August. So life has to be preserved. Government has reassured people that no one is going to die of hunger. Don't you think this is an opportunity that DP should come on board, not wait for them to form government, but to come in and start working now by giving people food?
Mr. Kelvin, it is sad to mention what the people of Zambia are going through. And that is why I'm saying that immediately we've got this kind of leadership, the leadership which has realized to say, now elections are near, so now let us start doing this and that so that we can attract the attention of the people of Zambia. The members again, Mr. Kelvin, they are reminding us, they are reminding us today saying,
so members are on us.
The Zambian people have been with the Patriotic Front since 2011 up to this moment. Are they telling us that from 2011 up to now, they didn't realize that you have got the less privileged people living in this country?
They have, and because
Apart
of COVID.
From that, because of COVID, I'm coming to that one. When you look at Rwanda, Mr. Kelvin, immediately COVID had to kick in. What did we see? We saw the president of Rwanda distributing food door to door. Apart from that, even in Tanzania, the similar thing was happening. In Singapore, when you look at Singapore, what happened there? They realized that these people were in this country. They are going to lose a lot of jobs. Since they are going to lose a lot of jobs, it was the government of Singapore which has to sign agreements with these companies which employed people saying, we are going to pay 70% of the people's salaries. Meaning, if me, where I'm working, I'm paid, let's say, 5,000. 70% was paid by the government of Singapore. And that is why we saw Singapore is not even that affected with coronavirus. But today, how many people have we lost as a result of coronavirus? How many people have lost jobs because of coronavirus? And that is why, even in Democratic Party, it is our duty. Because the people of Zambia, we are equally the people of Zambia. What we are saying is, even us in our individual capacities, Mr. Kelvin, even where you are, you help people in your area. Even me, I help people in my area. Certain people cannot afford to pay certain school fees. I say, oh, how much do you have? You have got this. I'm going to top up that. Why? This is because I don't have adequate resources at the moment. But you have got the government which is controlling the resources of the country. And of course, it can be our duty. But again, we in the Democratic Party do pay tax to these people in government, and it is up to them to make sure that we become accountable in the way we handle in our resources. It is this government, Mr. Kelvin, which managed to buy these fire trucks, these fire truck attackers at $1 million each. Yet, when you look at even the bridges that have been constructed here, they are going at higher prices. It is in this government, Mr. Kelvin, where $4 billion went missing. And then they were saying, what is $4 billion? And we were asking them, try to convert that money in kwacha. Provided that $4 billion was in the Democratic Party when we are in power. What we can do is to put up industries, Mr. Kelvin. Immediately put up industries which can be able to manufacture things like clothes, which can be able to manufacture things like even this meal by processing the maize that we have. Later on, if we export that, Zambia is going to have enough foreign currencies in these bank reserves. But what we are seeing at the moment, it's only jokes which are going on. But that is why, when you have got a country which is being led in this order, we have got a country which is not paying attention to the people of Zambia, it cannot be okay. Yesterday, President Lungu released the report saying, no, I'm saddened by the person by the name of Musonda, the person who had cancer, and I said that I'm going to the head. No, that is not how we handle issues. What the president is supposed to realize that I'm equally his child, including the president of other political parties. It is him who is under control almost with everything. And that is why we are saying, we will respect President Lungu for this short period which has remained. We are going to make sure no matter what we can say, we can insult him, we can shout at him, we can do whatsoever we can do in order to frustrate him. But one thing will still remain the fact, that he is still the president. Then to dissolve parliament here. After dissolve, and that is why a country like Zambia doesn't deserve to go through all this. In 1965, Mr. Kelvin, in 1965, Zambia's GDP per capita income was what? It was $65. And when you look at Singapore's GDP per capita income in the same year of 1965, it was $63. Today, as we are speaking, Congo is manufactured in wonders. Congo is manufactured in all these STEM materials that we are putting on in our homes. And that is why Congo's GDP per capita income is $45 billion. But in Zambia, the GDP that we have, it's what? It's only $20 billion. Why is it so? Congo, bamukambwa babakaboke, able to aleseka, but today what is happening? It's something which even the people of Zambia cannot be happy about. And that is why we are saying, immediately we come into power as the Democratic Party, we are going to make sure that we prioritize the interests of the people of Zambia.
Munzia, still on issues of, maybe you want to add something on the 150. Still on the issue of assuring. Now, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo has guaranteed, okay, with the DC, he has reassured this government is committed and they are not going to see anyone starving to death. So government is going to provide food. And we did see yesterday some people benefited. Now, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo has guaranteed the people of Zambia of the public security prior, during, and after the 12th August 2021 general elections. Mr. Kampiongo says this assurance, which was recently made by President Edgar Lungu, is not mere lamentations coming from government. Speaking during the questions for oral answer session in Parliament on Tuesday, which is yesterday, Mr. Kampiongo says government is putting premium on the safety of the Zambian people. This is what Honorable Stephen Kampiongo had to say.
Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the Minister for acknowledging that what could have led to that violence that happened in Ron was due to failing of cadres and a lot of them coming from other areas to be part and parcel of the campaign, which is also in public domain that the whole entire PF, including the whole cabinet, came to Ron. So therefore, they are also part and parcel of that violence, I believe. Mr. Speaker, the question to the Minister is, what assurance do we have from the Minister that this coming 12th August election, 2021, that it will be a free and fair election? Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Minister of Home Affairs.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and I acknowledge that follow-up question from the Honorable MP for Ron. And I want to advise him. He has been an MP for less than a year or so. And he must focus on how he's going to get back to the people of Ron and show what he has been able to do within this short space of period they've given him. To try and insinuate that the honorable ministers who went to Ron to campaign are the ones that took violence there is misplacement of facts. And he should learn to be sincere as an honorable member of this August House. He should learn from the seniors here. We have got veterans like the honorable MP for Kawata, that when we are here, we only debate facts. I know he didn't have proper orientation at the time he came.
Order, Honorable Minister.
So as his senior elder colleague, I'm appealing to him to focus on going back to the people. But he should be assured that if he has delivered, he will go and campaign peacefully against those he will be competing with in a few months to come. Because the people of Russia, and Ron to be specific, have been waiting patiently to see the deliverables. So he can be assured, and we assure the people of Ron, that there shall be peace, just as their president assured them on Friday, who is the commander-in-chief. And sir, yesterday I was just demonstrating how much government has done to ensure that the people of Zambia have got guaranteed public security. So we are not just lamenting, but we are pressing premium on the safety of our people prior to elections, during, and after elections. So, my dear colleague, should you feel safe and free to go and renew his mandate, which might be a mammoth task.
So, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo, they are responding to an oral question that was asked by Ron Member of Parliament Joseph Chishala, who wanted to know if government has put things in order or in place to ensure that people's safety is guaranteed before, during, and after the 12th of August 2021 elections. And Stephen Kampyongo, Honorable, did assure the Ron Member of Parliament that his focus should be how he's going to convince the people of Ron that have sent him to Parliament, where he has been in Parliament for less than a year. And he has guaranteed him that he should feel secure as he goes back to Ron to convince the people, of which Honorable Kampyongo says it's going to be a mammoth task for Honorable Chishala to convince the people. But Zambians should know that their safety is guaranteed and they are in safe hands. Munzia, our safety is guaranteed according to Honorable Kampyongo. Is there anything which you feel that the minister or the government should do to convince you and I, or to convince people out there, that we are safe come August?
Yes, there are things that they can do.
Yeah, what are those things?
To convince us that we are safe come August. And you see, it's not that we are safe come August, it's that we are safe. He himself said before, during, and after. So
yes,
it's that we are safe now, we are safe as we are voting, and of course
we'll
after.
continue
And
to
I
be.
think some of the things that we can see them start to do. For me, the biggest one is to disband the barracks that we've heard do exist here in Lusaka and other places. It's to disarm the so-called commanders that we've seen here in Lusaka and in other places. For as long as these things continue to happen,
Monze uja komanda wina
promising
nguzana
us.
mgwiro kopa belt anaenda na phone msero and then anatlangiza mwama ponyera makofi.
It's not enough for some of these people, Chifokolo, it's not enough to just condemn. You can't be in such a position. The whole president or the whole Home Affairs Minister or the whole Inspector General, you can't just be in that position and condemn violence. You need to act. The rest of us can condemn because we don't have the powers to act. But you need to do something about it.
Because you have the power.
Yes, they do have the power. Start to disarm Amakomanda Wonsaba. Just this morning, we had a story in the news, Chifokolo, you are aware, where Daniel is saying, Daniel Kalembe is saying, the Patriotic Front does not have any position as a commander. Yes, they may not have it, but we've seen these are things that are happening. We've seen at Kwadibama commander, and these commanders.
Go to each and every bus station, you hear that name
there's a
and somebody
commander,
will
and
appear.
these are people. Yes, the Patriotic Front themselves, the my leaders or top leadership, they may not come out to confirm that we have these positions. But these are self-proclaimed Patriotic Front
and
members.
they've got a following.
Yes, they are Patriotic Front members, and so for as long as they remain intact, they remain armed, they have soldiers.
So it's to disarm the commanders, to disname them.
Disarm
if
them,
there is such English,
disarm them and
disname them. Because you've mentioned we have got commanders in stations, in markets we've got commanders.
Yeah, so those are some of the steps that we should start to see happen. We can't just have a commander, no.
Mr. Simukoko, the minister, through the question that was asked by Ron, Member of Parliament, has reassured and guaranteed us that we are safe before, like Monza is making it, that now.
Before is now.
Is now, before the elections. It's now, we're in February. Elections will be held in August. Now.
And sorry, before you get to Lazarus, I think I did finish my submission. I want, for my safety, I want those people to be disarmed. But then I also want the police force itself I would want for him to also start by showing us that this is the plan to Kayaniri train or a refresher course for the police force so that they know what exactly it is that they are doing as they are dealing with both cadres and the general public during this time. So it's both disarming those people and now we need to move a level of professionalism that is quite lacking right now.
Mr. Simukoko, I know. Let me rephrase, or let me bank, or let me shelve my earlier question and go to another question because Monzi has just opened up something. Over the weekend, we did see one commander on the Copper Belt. He was arrested by the police. He went to the cells, but he was with his phone and he had to show how he can throw some punches, yes. And there's a video that has gone viral of him throwing those punches. Let alone he was released, and also a video was made and it has gone viral where his supporters were seen, chanting, "Commander ni commander, kale kale, uyapa, commander chana mfuma." Munzi has mentioned that what he needs to see or what he wants to see now is the police acting professional. Also, the issue of disarming the so-called commanders. We have commanders in bus stations, and we've got barracks where a commander even say, "No, I'm a soldier." And she's talking about disarming them and seeing that the police are working professional. Is that route that we need to take, or we should just take the minister by his words?
Mr. Kelvin, uwe pala taifa ila miti. Ilonka ya mairo wabare chungulo. What I can just say that's what I can what I can just say there, Mr. Kelvin. Uwe pala taifa ila miti. Ilonka ya mairo wabare chungulo. What I can just tell you on that point is the government of the PF is not interested in saving the people of Zambia, but remaining in power. There is no way we can expect a fully cabinet minister telling Honorable Chishala on how he is just supposed to go back to the people so that he remain in office in the next election that we are going to have. That is not the case. If you cannot sort out what you have now, what you need to know is that you need to realize that everything is supposed to be put in a certain order. Today we can condemn those commanders, we can condemn all those people who are grouping up in this market. But me, I'm not condemning them, Mr. Kelvin. Reason being, those people have nowhere to go. Reason being, those people have realized to say, police officers don't have that enough power, but cadres do have. Today as I'm speaking, go even in these schools that we're having. Ask grade ones, who do you want to be when you grow up? They're going to tell you that in Kabundefo Kada. Why are they doing so? It's because they have seen that cadres have been exposed to them. And in order for us to question that, we need to make sure that we put up production. All those cadres, they can be able to contribute to the wellness of this country. The problem that we have is that those cadres have got nowhere to go. Police officers, they are competent enough. They are competent enough. If they are competent, the people who are not competent, it's the people that we have who are directing them on what they are supposed to do. And that is why I mentioned earlier, Mr. Kelvin, saying, when you see a police officer making a mistake, it is not a mistake of a police officer, because that mistake came as a result of an instruction, either from the Minister of Home Affairs or from the big man himself who is in State House. So the best we can be able to do as a nation at this moment now is to make sure that we understand saying, what we are seeing today, we experienced them in the period of the MMD when they were about to exit office. We saw that. Even this moment, it is an indication that the PF na bafirwa nishbafirwa bakangiwa tenti basiye chabe zavotera bantu benango. And at this moment where we have reached as a country, we have never seen so low as a country. We have never been to our knees like this in our country. And that is why, when you have got a president, Mr. Kelvin, the president is supposed to be leading by example over certain things. Even when you look at the speech which the president had, or the president was reading, the only thing, he never condemned almost entirely when it comes to
But he assured us that we are safe.
How many times has he assured us? Almost every speech which is given to say, no, this is the speech what you are going to read to Mr. Kelvin, this is the speech you are going to read to Madam Munzia, and the speech you are going to read to all the Zambians. Everything about, assuring. We don't want him to be assuring us. He is in power. Let him lead by example. The Bible also reminds us, Mr. Kelvin, saying, we don't move by might, nor by power, but we move by faith. And how do you know that you move by faith? You have to experience. When you are experiencing, why should we have faith in this government of the PF? Yet we have moved from them since 2011.
Because it cares. It has delivered infrastructure-wise. Now people are being cushioned and being guaranteed that no one is going to die
Mr.
due
Kelvin,
to hunger.
I'm in politics. Nothing happens in public minus it happening, being planned behind the curtain. Nothing. When you see certain things being done in the public, just know that something was done behind the curtain. All these commanders that we are seeing, you can't tell me that they are just there. All that was planned before. And if it is planned, me, I'm in politics, I know these things, how they are working. And I know how they work.
And you know what you are planning.
No. On my side, which you are planning. Regarding my
politics,
party.
Yes.
I'm in politics, Mr. Kelvin. And
you are a youth chairperson for the province.
I'm the youth chairperson for the province.
So there is something that you are planning on behalf of your youth.
The Democratic Party.
On how to defend yourselves, on how to harm people.
Defending myself, I will. Defending myself, I can, because that is enshrined in the Constitution.
And defending the party, whether it takes...
Listen, defending a political party calls for a principle. And we need to follow a constitution. Mr. Kelvin, I am here to say you have heard Mr. Kalaba speaking on many forums. And that is why he has been assuring us, even me, he tells me at times, Lazarus, you can be my deputy chairperson for Lusaka province. But when law is on you, if you have committed a crime, let law apply on you equally, because law is blind. PF, DP, why doesn't it do so? Because it applies equally. Not a situation whereby we are seeing a cadre going into police cells, and that cadre is now streaming even live, throwing punches here and there, and saying, commander. We were not having this during the time of people like Mwanawasa, Mr. Kelvin.
Why are we having this?
We are having this because of what incompetent leaders. That is the problem that we have in this country. When you have got leaders who are not putting the safety of the people, but they are putting the safety of them.
How can we trust you to be competent when we haven't even trust? You
can trust us, Mr. Kelvin. Let me remind you of this point. Mr. Alikala has been a minister before. He has been a minister before, and you know.
And he's the one who taught Zambians that believe in PF. They are the messiahs.
Let me tell you something. We have got two PFs at the moment. We have got the PF for Michael Sata, which stood for the poor. The police. And
everyone in PF will tell you, say, I passed through the school of Michael Sata, school of politics.
Now, let's do this. Let's do this at that moment. Mr. Kelvin, what you need to know is that Ichi Monwa Tabapiana. I can have a vision on how I can develop the country. But even if you are in my position, I tell you to say, you can now lead. The things that you are going to bring on board, Mr. Kelvin, will not be the way I was supposed to execute them. Because you are just following more like a manual, but you don't know the way forward on how you can implement all these things. Let us be realistic at the moment first. When you look at the same cadres that are in this country, what are we seeing? We see even cadres fighting, demolishing certain buildings, making sure that they are stoning other political parties' vehicles. Yet police officers are watching. Why do they watch? Does that mean that those police officers they are not competent? Police officers are competent, and that is why I'm telling you, Mr. Kelvin, saying no matter what you see in this public, which are political wise, just know that thing was once done behind the curtain. Now it's been executed.
I will be coming back to you. Munzia, he keeps on, Lazarous keeps on saying the police, they are competent enough. You are talking about the retraining. These police officers have what it takes. According to you, why do you think in other instances, or selected instances, the police have failed us? What is it that is making us to fail us, where the president even made it clear that Zambian people or Zambians are losing confidence in the police, and a task was given to the IG to bring back the confidence? Clearly it shows that you don't have confidence. No wonder you're calling for the retraining. That was just a cadre. That wasn't a police officer.
No, I mean, it's unprofessional. Whether he did say Tamwakapite or not, it's unprofessional. He shouldn't have made such comments. He shouldn't have made such comments. For our police force, even everything that is happening, you know how someone needs to be, how you need to pat someone down before you put them in cells. They don't go in with belts. They don't go in with shoes. They don't go in with so many things. They are thoroughly checked because a lot of things happen when they are in cells. Tell me how professional police allowed him to go in with a phone. We can start there. The most recent one. How did they allow him to go in with a phone? There's a lot of unprofessionalism that is happening. And you see, maybe even saying they should go back for training is going to be a waste of time and resources, because I really also believe that these are people that know what they're supposed to be doing. They have just taken the need to be partisan more than the need to actually be professional and do what is expected of them in their profession. Because they know what they're supposed to be doing.
They know what they're supposed to do. You've kept on saying this is the police are very professional. Moise has just given an example. How can the professional police allow someone who has been arrested to go in the cells with a phone and moreover go live? Some of us ukombo ni kwatu kwenda pa Choston ni choka pa sapato, chosa beruti, chosa zili matumba, wafaka pa. How come a professional police can allow?
Professional police would not have allowed JJ to go back to Eastern Province after what he did at Lusaka Central.
Now, Mr. Kelvin, let's stand there for a minute. What you need to realize at this moment is that no any minister can be investigated minus the consent of the president.
No, the president has refuted that. They have told us that he doesn't know why they are still waiting instead of them moving in and investigating.
The president is aware that this is the happening. Because the moment...
But they're independent. He can be aware, but they're independent.
At this moment, he's aware, but he's not going to tell them not to do it or to go ahead and
that is what I'm saying.
But he's aware.
What I'm trying to tell you here is, when you look at the police officers that we have, Mr. Kelvin, in physics, it is clear an object will continue being at rest, provided there is no any external forces which is applied on it. That is how police officers function. A police officer will follow an instruction from the Constitution.
That has been unprofessional.
The police officer follows the Constitution.
Okay.
The moment there is an extra instruction from another board, like the Inspector General, the police commissioners, you are going to see that police officer will divert.
That is being unprofessional.
No,
They are not being professional then.
Mr. Kelvin,
Do you know
Mr. Kelvin,
that's why
at that
certain
moment,
professions you need to swear.
let us look at this.
You've given that good example. Lazarus, when you left home, your focus, your vision, and what you had in mind was, I'm going to movie because I've been invited to feature on a show.
Yes.
If someone comes and say, Lazarus, you are going to movie. Oh no, let us go to Katimamuliro. Are you going to divert?
Mr. Kelvin, politics,
And if you divert, are we going to still
Politics
say,
involves-
no, Lazarus is a man of vision?
politics involves a lot of aspects, Mr. Kelvin. And that is why when you look at the police officers, Mr. Kelvin, we have got our bosses where I'm coming from, I've got my boss, and where other people... where
Probably
they-
just say you've got your commander. Don't say you've got your own boss.
No,
Maybe you've got a
I'm
commander.
not talking about a political party, no. I mean those people who are working.
Okay.
Immediately that person says, I want this work and this work to be done for the betterment of this company. That person will make sure that work is done.
Yes.
Equally in a political party, Mr. Kelvin, I've told you to say the police IG is appointed by the president. The deputy police IG is appointed by
Including
the
commissioners. Commissioners are appointed by the president.
The president is more like having an institution which is like a company. Is more like a boss. The moment he says, or the moment within those wings.
But you've
I'm
said
trying to
we
bring
have
it
a
to
constitution,
you.
Lazarus.
I'm bringing that to you.
But you've said we have a constitution.
Got a leadership which is not following a constitution, Mr. Kelvin, it is hard. And that is why when you have got leaders in government who are not paying attention to the constitution because they don't understand it. That is why Nama Ishua said because they have not taken time to understand that. If they are failing to understand the constitution, equally the directives which will be given to these police officers that we have in this country, it will be unconstitutional. Do you know the reason why? This is because those people, they are serving the interests of the people of Zambia. Look, the government has got policies which ensures that the people of Zambia are living in a safe zone.
Lazarus, I don't want to agree with you because the police have told us that they don't receive instructions from anyone. The IG is on record.
The IG
He's the one who commands the police, and the police cannot receive any instructions from anybody.
And the IG works in collaboration with who? That is the simple question. I'm going to
With the Minister of Home Affairs.
the Minister of Home Affairs. So provided, and that is why I'm saying the mistakes that are made by the police officers, it's not their mistakes, but it's the mistake with...
Lazarus, are you telling us that even that commander, that Jerabo, who was arrested and he went Maseos na phone, the IG probably commanded those people?
It's because we have seen Mr. Kelvin, history. No,
some
listen.
of the things that are happening
Just
are very,
a minute there.
are very they're very minor issues.
Yes.
Where the
Now,
police
now,
have been
now.
unprofessional. That is
Mr.
why
Kelvin, Madam
I
Munzia.
refuse to believe that
Madam
it comes
Munzia,
from
let's
from-
look
No,
at this.
I'm
Let's
not
look
going
at
to.
this. You are not going to believe this, but let us look at experience first. We saw how the police officer was transferred from here to Western Province. Why? Because for saying that, for Ekata by saying, baona le buere that bakateka tabakapite. Provided we have the leadership in this country.
And that police officer was recalled after the intervention of the minister, who said if the police command did that, they are wrong.
No,
They're not supposed to do
They
that.
are wrong. A person who is wrong means the person has abrogated the what? The constitution. Did we see the Ekata being arrested?
The cat was not arrested.
Why?
But the police officer was called back to Lusaka
So the
after the
point-
intervention
the
of the
point-
minister,
the
who
point
said
I'm
the
trying
police
to
are not
make
supposed
is-
to do what
but,
they did.
but Lazarus, the issue here is the police. So we can't say, did we see the cadre being arrested? Arrested for what?
Look.
For Zalalini? Atuyalela ndani.
Tama kapiti.
No,
There was nothing wrong with
understand my point here. Understand my point. And let us hope the people are following.
Yes.
What I'm trying to tell you here is, the moment that police officer who allowed that cadre to go in that police cell, probably with shoes, with belts, or with all the
With
clothes,
a phone, and he
the
went
phone.
live.
The problem is that police officer might have realized to say, if I do anything which is not in favor of this cadre, what will happen, Mr. Kelvin, is that the similar situation can happen to me.
And
Like
that
the
is
one which
So,
happened there.
so he's very unprofessional.
He's unprofessional.
Imwe-
Why should he work
Mwimwe
on
namu ba
assumptions?
police base.
He
Why
is
should he
very
work on
unprofessional.
assumptions that in
The
Ghana
people
Banana
were
is secure?
unprofessional. Because that is what you are failing to understand. The people who are unprofessional are the people who are in government. That is the
Police officers are civil servants.
Police
They know what they're
officers,
supposed to
they are
do.
professional.
They know
Let us
they are
not-
very
Look,
unprofessional.
police
They know what
officers-
they are supposed to
Police
do.
officers are not politicians, and let us safeguard them.
And so they should not
They-
favor a politician. If Chief Okolo will be told choka munsapato,
safeguard the
chosa
police
phone,
officer who is
see a phone hapa. What?
No. I mean, in the hands of the politician. I mean, those people are in power, not you as an individual. Yes, that's what
So
I'm trying to
Lazarus, if the police officer who is very professional will order Lazarus to say choka pansapato, see a phone by reception, ngena and the same police officer will say, oh, because we walk chipani, no, iwangena na phone. Where is the professional? Where is the professionalism there?
Mr.
Where is
Chairman,
the professionalism there?
That is the point I'm going to make here. Look, we don't know what those police officers are going through. They are even strong, Mr. Kelvin.
To what?
Look at this.
To allow illegality.
Police officer.
To allow a cadre to go in the
No
police
one expects-
cell with a phone.
No one expects that it's going to be easy.
Imwe pano.
But we expect that they should be professional. Not
Yes,
that
yes.
it's going to be smooth.
No. It's not going to be smooth.
Even me, when
It
I
is
come
very
to
rough
meet
out
here,
there.
It's not easy.
No, it's
but
not.
I will come here and be
She wakes up
professional.
early in the morning to come for the show. It is not easy.
You don't know what I'm going through.
Let us look at this. Where does professionalism begin? It begins somewhere. Even corruption, which we are talking about in this country, the moment those people are in power, they fight a lot when regarding corruption. Corruption cases can reduce. And that is why, but the moment you hear that, oh, our minister is being interrogated because of corruption, a common person will stand up and say, oh, if a minister is being investigated because of corruption, or if the minister is corrupt, why should I be a neutral person? And that is why I'm telling you to say, incompetent people in this case are the people who are giving instructions to those police police officers.
Lazarus,
And the police have refused that they don't receive.
Do you see that statule kutarika?
Okay. The question I'm going to ask you,
Mr.
Mr. I'm not a journalist here. I'm not a journalist here.
Saying, even Wakapokola themselves, they're very unprofessional.
So you are saying that the police officers are in profession, including you, Mr. Kelvin, they are in profession. My
The
conclusion
conduct.
is that they are professional because they are receiving instruction from unprofessional people. As
And-
those
and-
instructions which they execute,
And
it's
why?
not for them.
For me, I don't agree with you because you are putting a blame on politicians.
Yes.
You are saying these are
And yet
these are the
I
people that are not that are not professional. But for me, the police are on record telling me
do not
that they
receive
don't receive instructions from anybody. They do what they do because they have been trained. So a professional police officer, somebody who is professional, cannot allow a cadre or a commander or a jerabo to go myself na phone.
Na belt.
We are on record. Chatewa belt yake naswa because he was told sunga ende msero na belt. 0764250055 is the number. And I have opened the phone line. You can come through. Lazarus here is saying the police are very professional. The only people who are unprofessional are politicians who are giving instructions to police officers. Police officers are on record telling us that they don't receive instructions from anybody, making them to be professional people, but their conduct and the way they are discharging their duties is very unprofessional. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name, sir, and where are you calling us from? You are through to the lunchtime show. Sorry for that. Gulani Toko time, and make sure that your phone has the Toko time in case you want to be part of the discussion. Hello, good afternoon. You are through to the lunchtime show.
Hello, good afternoon.
Reduce the volume on your TV set.
Pardon?
Reduce the volume on your TV set. Is this Elder Mulonda?
Yes, you are right.
Elder Mulonda, good to have you back in the afternoon. I don't know, Elder Mulonda, please buy talk time, and we want to hear your contribution. You are calling us all the way from the Copper Belt, Ndola. It should be an issue of airtime. Because calls are cutting, and it seems people are eager to contribute and come through on the show and add their voice. We've added our voice, and I want to hear what people are saying. Elder? Yes. Maybe it's our phone. Maybe it's our phone. I don't know. Maybe it's our phone. Maybe it is our phone. 0764 25 0055. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo has reassured us that we are safe. Our safety is guaranteed. Monzi has said something that needs to be done, that we should start seeing now in order for some of us to be convinced that we are safe. And the police have come in. And an example has been given where on the Copper Belt we saw a commander or a Jerabo or a Kada who was arrested and he went Maseos na phone no kwambo kuikopa if you are sama coffee. Hello? 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 Waende ko panja nzona. Hey. More money in the soil. Kumpulungu kulishani. Elande ntumfu more money in the soil. Fumianiko ku TV, fumianiko volume. But why mlende yumfa, ndio mfa voice yandika ili more money in the soil. Eh, lande ntumfu.
Bantu amakayonse kutoka kwa tala komanda banga muno Muzambia.
Bafire pia baba kupenda.
Komanda ni chief ni president. Na kuame kwa komanda. Na kuzapo. Noti kata na baba komanda. Ikia ingesho ni administration. Abo bantu bakapogola baba kama administration ni kufumako.
Okay. But more money in the soil. Police bali kana titawapoka kwa makana nguku bebe fya kuchita kuli abantu abali bonse. Baya ichitira abeni.
Abali opposition ngana ikatwa de byane na self muka timu mwa Daingi de jale itapeza maboxi mwa sales. Kuti yakesho opposition.
30.
Shukani ngina kwa leke tuweka timu mgo kulira kuyukwa sinjiria matako.
Hero kuli chivemba le.
Mgo kulira. Kakalera kana makali kama matako kuchulu. So, siye fukuchache sonse ya lefua ya. Opposition tetete changu chimo. Nikutu wale ikata.
Okay.
Maumfweni.
Twaumfwa.
Ikupine. Chimbi ni application of justice. Selective.
Okay.
So, selective of justice, we are going to contact something like it, president because the commander in chief is president. Number 4. Even in Kalembe, my land of Mukef, the commander. The commander of Makuisa,
Taishu, Tamwawa. Twatotera more money. Twatotera. That is more money in the soil, calling us all the way from Mpulungu. He agrees with Simukoko and he says the president is the commander in the armed forces. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are through to the lunchtime show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Oscar Singwere, calling from Matabuka.
Please, let's hear your contribution.
Yonkani, wali problem. Waliwe banange na president Edgar Lungu, State House. Kitandauza kuti banasenzesa method ya mine baziwa makadati abo bamene bangena na mafoni mutani mumaseva. Sembe makadati. Sembe president azivoti makadati. Ni bantu chape. Nabakapokola tubazi bauti makadati ni bantu chape. I think kada na kapokola ali trained mushemushi. Kulanga muze vochita. So there's something President na Minister of Defense Bakampyongo.
Minister of Home Affairs.
Hello?
Bakampyongo na Home Affairs Minister. You are Home Affairs Minister, not Defense.
Yeah. So abo bantu abo secretary yabo makada amene bakamba amene banangena cyane kuli kimi amene banachita ko bantu uwe muntu bakamugwira uyo amene kada anachita so akaisanula diwi kushikwatira. That's why makada are more protected. On the place like the bike, they know something behind the next like the don't say it's a ban. So, Tita Babuti, iwe bauko mojani, station up. Ukatretira my information. Mutipata my information, full information. Na muntu mwatitondeza kwa na mapictures, mwamene eze kuoneka uyo kada kinikada bwanji. Kuti mwenda, kuti mfuna, mukaenda uyo muntu mukaichechaebe find out, uyo muntu mwamene ali na mpavu. Ndaka pepeta ali na mpavu, lo bakapokolo anamu manga uyo. Anaona uti muntu, singa kwa ni say. But they reported, but they just keep quiet. There's something hidden behind.
Zikomo kwambiri. 0764250055 is the number. Ndiye number mene mtuma. Tell us what you make of the topic of discussion that we are having. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Yeah, I was just reducing the volume.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. Now, I think.
Again it has happened. Sorry bayoda. Yonika mzuva ya kosako mukangi wa kubwera through. Hello? Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling from Chienge. This is Barry.
Okay. Please, let's hear your contribution, Barry.
Yeah, I was saying this police, they are so much competent.
Okay.
The problem that we have is that they normally fear these so-called cadres. You find that a cadre can behave anyhow. So the police, they are competent. It's only that they are being controlled by these cadres and the PF government. I think that's what I can say.
Sir, before you go, how do you differentiate competence and fear?
Fear.
Yes, you've said they are afraid. Fear and competence. If you are competent, are you going to be afraid? Are you going to fear anything?
Fear. Then you are fearing something. If you are competent, then you are likely to do something that you are trained of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you going to be afraid if you are competent?
Somehow you can be afraid. You are competent, but you are fearing somebody.
Okay. Interesting.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Some of us, even when we were at school, some of us were involved in certain activities at school, and we feared nobody. Hello, Mr. KY. KY. Nilibwino wa KY mulibwanji.
Simukoko mulibwanji.
Bwino mulibwanji.
Pamoja naye mulibwanji kwa.
Nifa bwino wa KY shani.
Lelo malimba. Kuyamba kuse.
Chikokolo is abusing me.
Kubwela ku issue india metu makamba ati bakapopola bafunika tabeli training. Kaya abantu amayimala ati bashibuse bani. My political parties will come and go, but the realm will remain. Not until 65 years in the Pamela at the time. So I want to do my political side, or ruling party or what. But I want to work neutral because it's a civil servant. So not you remember Mukoko about very confident about Polimbe. See, last week, Pamela, Pavana, President, DP.
Wanaoita disrupt chan program yao ni makadazi atuenzana watumu
wakapokola wetu wanajite protect wa DP president basi akambajani watu wakabadi wali
Okay. Zikoma KY. Yeah, that is Mr. KY all the way from Senanga, Western Province, coming through on the program. Let me pick 3 last call. Hello, good last calls. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Hey, Nimandani nikuti? Mr. Kakoma from Kalumbira, could you reduce the volume on your TV set or move away from your TV set?
Hello?
Have you reduced the volume on your TV set?
Yes.
Mr. Kakoma, please go ahead with your contribution.
The police are not competent. Because even they are training for 6 months, all they know is just to slap. And report, they are not competent. Because if they are competent, you need not to clear anything.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kakoma. That is Mr. Kakoma from Northwestern, and that is Kalumbira, saying the police are not competent. If they are competent, if you are competent, you don't have to fear anyone. Hello?
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you.
Reduce the volume on your TV set or move away from your TV set.
Okay. Hello?
Have you moved? Okay, your name, sir?
I'm Kunda, calling you from Sera.
Please, let's hear your contribution, Mr. Kunda.
Yeah, I think I want to have a chat on attack. I want Japan. You know, it's more like this other
Okay.
from Kulanda that Kapula will be there and choose the 5 years. Then, they are quite better appointments. I'm a minister appointed by the president.
Yes.
I'm a commissioner of police appointed by the president. Those people also engage someone that was which were 2 lanterns. They are not trained there when no. Kapokola won't make a in the name of the president. You won't make. So I don't try to make a moon to just can you comply? Baba, what? Full of phone in my pocket. Please about to ask you. I'm trying to get a card and I'm going to make a chat. I actually that is the police officer. Bakapokola, maybe a police officer is just alone at the police post. Then you got card like before. Then what you will do, you will just allow that card open here and told the sales. That's because she had incompetent. No. Overpower. Hello?
Yeah.
Bound start overpower, so the other things, we have to say God in store. But if I say, you'll be transferred maybe to Shango.
Oh.
They will not tell you, but I was going to there and you can take something. So, but then that's very competent. No, they are just okay. No one thing, they are the same books as everybody training. You have 1970 up to now, they are just the same officers. The only problem is the bamboo stuff and Amapera Makadas. Otherwise, they are just like teachers, they are just like these other workers. I want that point was the way about to say, it's still have. So please don't attack that person there. That man is just okay. Otherwise, where we are going, it will be more than this because charity in the
Wakunda, before you go, ukuchita attack nokuchita differ nomuntu fyaba chimochini.
No, we are different things.
So ngashisumisha nefyo mulerana nchide mchita attack.
Okay, sure, you can use that thing. That's okay. You can correct me in that. But in that, what he's saying is very correct.
Okay.
What you are trying to say. You are trying to tell him that where the Kapokola, I'm sure Muntuma says that's the point. He has to go because that person definitely don't need a phone. That's what you are saying.
Yes, so it makes them incompetent. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, that's what.
These officers, because Kapokola can be alone. But now
Twatotera.
Alafu ukatoka kama powers ya twaperwa government kuteko. So ngalanda that just comply grammar sales right show from the allied the commander watch. So this time it's not like that.
Twatotera.
So this one I don't know also trying to go. Nicha kwa mtoko le kigozi. Abumule kulichona kukula kwa sales. Kulichona mtumwa ndani. Zapato kuingisha na phone. Kaka. But there's nothing in do. Otherwise zamuto tani. Amuingisha.
Okay. Twatotera. Two last calls, then we conclude on this topic of discussion. Hello?
Yes, good down.
Good afternoon, thank you. Your name, sir, and where are you calling us from?
Shao calling from Oku.
Yes, sir, please, how is Lukuru this afternoon?
Oku is fine.
Go ahead with your contribution.
No, I just wanted to comment on your co-host who you have called there. I don't know who is he.
Our guest, not my,
I mean your guest.
is Mr. Lazarous Simukoko. Is a politician. He belongs to the Democratic Party, DP.
Yes, that upcoming politician is becoming good.
Mm.
He's becoming good. I have read his contribution. He's good. And you know, the police are very professional, but the only problem is those people who are behind them. So that is the problem. And my worry is for Muzia. Muzia, I called with the Olivia's opinion. I asked her about the decoters. So she told me that he going to call me, but up to date, I have not yet received the information.
Your number ends with 11.
Yeah.
Okay. She's going to call you after the program. She has assured me. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Last call. Then we wrap up on this, discussion. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Chopa.
Yes, boss.
Namuishi Batesio. Inaitwa Defi Mwana Defio.
Adnwana nishina face. Okay. Okay. Ukabalo command.
But politicians, let them check their behavior.
Okay.
Let them behavior, not switch them through.
Okay.
Because of a politician. Never have a room. Because of one fire, you take it.
Okay.
So when I come to people, I come to I take them with family. Wait. When I come to that, no, because they never because it's just me. That's what I find like. Because it's never see it. The people who it's going to be useless.
Okay.
We are suffering because we are suffering in
Okay. Twatotera. 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 Yampwe. Achirwa. Nilipa program. So sinizi wakuti wae mwantumira nilipa program. Wakambani.
Maybe you're too busy for call.
Oh. Kambani makoda. Okay. Okay. Oh. Ziko mwachiri. Ziko mwambiri. And I'm preparing the video. Somebody called and said mwatirangiza mwatulanga video ine yakada. Lazarous, as we conclude on this.
Let me just respond to that. The police officers that we have today are the same police officers that we had in the time of MMT. They are the same police officers who were tolerating certain things. They were protecting the law. Their main aim was focusing on the constitution. But why is it that we are seeing change just because PF was coming into power? If those people were in the MMD, because we are saying that for those people, depending with, even if the government changes, those people still remain with those positions. The police officers that we have during the time of MMD, they are the same police officers that we have today. If these police officers that we have today, if we are calling them incompetent, why then should we call those people in the MMD during the time of MMD as competent people? Because they are the same. The problem is the issue which is there is the people were in the the police officers who were in the MMD. They were receiving instructions from leaders. But the ones which we have now, they are receiving instruction from politicians who are in leadership.
When you say they are receiving instruction from leaders, they are receiving instructions from politicians, then I'm lost.
The issue which is there,
I'm lost.
When you are in office, Mr. Kelvin, we need to remove the mind of a politician and put leadership there. Because remember, when you go there as a politician or serving the people, what to be clicking in your mind is these people didn't vote for me as a result, I'm not going to take development there. These people didn't do this. But when you are a leader, you are going to embrace criticism, you are going to embrace those people who are criticizing you, and you are going to apply equality amongst the people that you are leading. Not what is happening today. Other people are charged more than the other. Other people are more Zambians while others are not. Today, as we are saying, that cadre we are talking of went into a police cell with a phone. Yet other people, they are searched and they go there minus a belt, minus a phone, minus a necktie, minus all those things. But why is it that same police officers treating two people differently? This is because the police officer is fine, Mr. Kelvin. Because the police officers that we had during the time of MMD, they are the same people that we have today. The same people, the same trainings those people were going to. It's the same training where they are going to even now. So those police officers are competent enough.
So
the problem,
as we conclude on this one, the Home Affairs Minister is assuring you and I that we are safe. No. And we will continue to be safe before, during, and after. Do you agree with
when he's safe in the PF, it is well and good. But
no, it means Zambians, not the PF.
Zambians are not safe, Mr. Kelvin. Let us talk about the marketeers. Let us talk about these bus operators. What is happening is cadres are intimidating them day in, day out. Those marketeers who are selling even in these city markets and all the markets across this country, the cadres are getting money from them. The cadres are getting money from these bus operators. Where do you expect them? Where do you expect these bus operators? Where do you expect these marketeers to make sure that they raise enough revenue for them to be sustained? And that is why we are saying these people we have in government, they are not competent. But I'm not going to call Mr. Lungu names. I'm not going to do that. He's a president for now, up to August. But August, sama campaign yambe, tukembane na mamumeno.
Munzi, as we conclude the safety, we've been assured that you and I are safe before, during, and after.
I have already given my position.
So you don't agree? Not until certain things are done. Okay, as we only have about 7 minutes. Your opponents, the UPND, had a so-called successful convention, and Hakainde Chirema went unopposed. People are criticizing him that there is no way that he should go unopposed. Hari Kalava of the DP, you had your convention, he went unopposed. The leadership movement, LM, they had their own. Dr. Silumbe went unopposed. What do you make of presidents going unopposed in these political parties?
I cannot mention what is happening in other political parties, but because I'm not aware of the process that they are to embark on for the president to go unopposed.
Okay.
But I can truly stand for our president, Mr. Hadi Kalaba. Mr. Hadi Kalaba, the moment we said they were going to have a convention, we had to send emails to all these people who are leaders in these areas, all these branches. We said any person who is supposed to stand on this position and that position should send the mail. No mail came through, nothing came through as a person was criticizing them. What did we expect from there? We are supposed to have a successful convention. Apart from that also, we had a representation, Mr. Kelvin, all across the country. All across the country, we had leaders from Western.
So the DP leader went unopposed because he had no challenge.
No, let me tell you something there. The DP leader, our leader, my leader, also your leader. Next after August, Bala winner. What is happening?
So I'm receiving instructions from a politician.
Instruction? No, it's not an instruction. It's for a well-meaning of the people of Zambia. So the issue which is there, Mr. Kelvin. The issue which is there, Mr. Kelvin, is that immediately we had that convention. What happened is, even those people in the DNC, Democratic National Committee, that's what we call them, others they call them the National Executive Committee.
Yours is called the DEC.
The Democratic Executive Committee, because we are a democratic
so it's DEC.
And I stand to just mention to say, maybe the people are criticizing the UPND, because for me, I don't know, maybe I'm still young or what, because this is the first time I'm hearing that they have gone for a convention. Maybe that could have been the reason.
You're young indeed.
Yeah, I'm young, so I don't know, maybe previously they were having conventions which I was not aware of, but this is the first convention that I've heard from the UPND, and Democratic Party is new. It was formed somewhere in 2018 up to now, and this is the first convention that we have had as a political party. So since we have had this convention, we are still having more conventions going
Maybe
forward.
it's going to be challenged in the near future.
Not maybe, it's going to be challenged at some point, because we believe in democracy. It is about the people speaking, it's about the people standing up for what they think is right. All those people who said no, they're supposed to be challenging him in that order, the people were there. Of course, even if they didn't challenge him, the reason why they didn't challenge him, it's because they believe in his leadership. The reason why they didn't challenge him, it's because they understand the policies which he has even for the country. Remember, we don't just put leaders from saying, no, we need to put this as a leader. Provided any person came to challenge my president, I would have still voted for Mr. Hari Kalabas, a president of the Democratic Party. Reason being, he has got a tested character. It is him who resigned from the Patriotic Front saying, there is a lot of corruption. At that moment, we called him names. We did whatsoever we could. But the president stood to say, time will tell. Today we are talking about corruption in the PF. Yet the person told us already. And when you have got such kind of leader, when he was even still a cabinet minister, he said, after this court have ruled to say the ministers who stayed in office illegally are supposed to pay their money. He is the only minister at that moment.
He was the first one.
Yes, who stood to say, I'm going to pay despite of me being in office.
And others paid.
Yes,
others paid.
No, they didn't. At
no,
first,
others paid.
Before they even mentioned the price, Mr. Kelvin, because this issue of ministers staying illegally in office, it started long time ago.
Yes.
When he was still the foreign affairs minister, he said, I'm going to pay. Other people, what I'm going to say is, they condemned him to say, no, why do you want to pay? You just want to show off. If it was even Mr. Hari Kalabas said, here in Mansa Central, we have got manganese, yet we are buying Samsung batteries from countries like China. He said, we need to make sure that we bring in investors so that we stop exporting manganese, so that we start doing them here. The problem that he made, Mr. Kelvin, do you know it? It's because he was saying that in a constituency which was not his. As a result, they were just saying he just wants to make a name and the result and the like. No, but okupangeshi na kanshi nishiruve mbu. Teruve mbu awe. And that is why Mr. Kelvin, ni mie bakuya mkuvote. Nkeza mku misendo chero na miraya, even you,
no,
get you.
I don't
so
think
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are going to vote, to the place, it doesn't matter. We're going to arrange everything in that line, and you go and vote there, because immediately come into office, Mr. Kelvin, all this lawlessness in this country will come down.
Commander.
Commander.
Munzia, we have to go. Thank you.
Lazarous, for coming. It's been a wonderful show.
Thank you very much, Madam Munzia.
Let's up now. Send go to Chivemba. Shire Mubemba.
I just can't say them because I don't know when to apply them.
Okay.
But a number of them that he was saying.
But you've learned at least to one fisher.
I think I have. I have.
This has been the Lunchtime Show on your channel of choice, Movie Television. Tomorrow we'll be back with Tang Thursday. Majudges yazangala pano kuyesa kusinja nhani kutanene china tsitsazae kuti njovu atyoke mnyanga. My name is Kelvin Tabula, Chief Woko Lunda by tribe Lunda blood flowing in my veins. On behalf of Munzia Mwanza and Lazarus Simukoko. If this is when you've just joined us, wasanga
tusakushinda mukulwisha chikola kya coronavirus. Pano pakuba bino twafuainwa kulondera bintu byonse byatanchikwa mukwivimbira.
Byomwafuainwa kuba pakikola kya coronavirus. Ovwai kumaboko pakimye na mema atoka na mulola pamasekendi 20.
Vweta ipakanwa ne pamyona kimye kyonse kyomubena kwenda na tubisapiterwa kubamba tumatishu. Inge kyakuba mubena kuchamuna na ngwa kukopora munayi kubamba muavweta pakanwa kuingidisha